How about that? Is that better? Audio not good. Okay. Retro. Is that better? All right, cool. Thank you. I guess plugging the headphones in wasn't good. Sometimes it is, and sometimes it isn't. It just does whatever it wants. So I'm gonna add that I'm okay. Way better. Thank you. Thank you. This is kind of an old phone that I'm on. This is my 3G phone, which they made me upgrade to the 4G or 5G or something. But this is a 3G phone, and I love it. But it does have a little bit of issues. So anyway, as long as you guys can hear okay, I'll continue. Well, hey, Grace, welcome to Grace Styles. She strolls in style. Yeah, Pinch is back. Good to see you tonight. And Pinch brought somebody with him. Pinch brought his daughter Ella in here tonight, so we're welcoming Ella with us tonight. And like I said, I didn't really get back into the comments last night because it just shut off. But anyway, we're gonna pick up where we left off. And last night, Pinch brought up a good source for people to use if you want to learn some contradictions. This is 194 contradictions from the New Testament. I just saw a video when I was pulling this up. I saw a video where somebody tries to do the apologetics for this list here. So I think I'm going to watch that at some point. I'm curious to see how they explain this away, because maybe a few of these out of 194, I'd say maybe 10 of them maybe you could explain, but the rest is you just can't. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to put a link to this because this is really handy. Let me go like this. This is really handy, a list. So I'm going to put this list in there, 194 contradictions. And I'm just going to show you last night. A lot of what I know on the contradictions came from this list, but some of the contradictions I learned actually is from listening to rabbis. I love listening to rabbis that can pick apart the New Testament. They got their own reasons to do it, okay? But it is helpful, useful information. I like Rabbi Tovia Singer. I like, there's a few of them. But anyway, they're real good at picking this stuff out too. But anyway, so I got, I've learned from all different sources, but this is a really good one. So I will put the link to this 194 contradictions into the chat. Now, it's funny because I used to, when I started my channel, there's the link for that 194 contradictions. When I started my channel, it was to study the Bible and to prove to everybody how true it was. But the more I studied it, the more it came unraveled. And I always wondered, how come these biblical scholars that go for years and get degrees in biblical studies and stuff, how is it none of them come out believing it? None of them come out believers. And I thought, well, are they doing something to these people? No, they're not. There's my cat coughing. Hold on a second. Got a fur ball or something. What's happening over there? Is there an issue? I must have had a fur ball. You just never know. Last night I let the dogs out. When I let them in, it was dark out there in the porch, and I slammed the door, and I didn't know a cat was trying to run out and got her paw slammed in the door. He comes back limping. I'm like, oh good God, did he just hit a broken foot? Chase him around to make sure he was okay. It was okay. But yeah, these cats are a handful. Free cats. Anybody want a cat or two? Um, yeah. So that is the here. I just put up that. Yeah. Grace says, when you first began, we were little believers. Once you read and actually study, the truth sets you free. Yes, and that is true. And that's why there's no people that believe this anymore. Once they study full time and deep dive into it, it unravels. And what you end up with is really Roman pagan God, demigod, half man, half God, like all the rest. A sun god with the pun in there, sun, you know what I mean? And it is a dead, buried, and resurrected God, which all the pagan gods were, or not all, but a lot of them were buried and resurrected, and a lot of them were, the daddy is the God, and the mommy is the earth lady, human. And what we really are doing, it's human sacrifice. And that's why when you go to Catholic Church, you eat the flesh and you drink the blood, because it is a human sacrifice. And yeah, and I'm telling you, it wasn't easy when these things surfaced, because some people didn't like what they were seeing and hearing, and some even got mad at me. And I'm just studying here. So anyway, everybody can believe what they want. I don't know, it's good to believe in something, I think. As long as it's working for you. If it's working for you, good for you. But you should know what you're believing in. And that's, I think, one of the huge problems. Huge, Y-U-G-E. One of the huge problems with Christianity is people don't study their manual. Nobody cracks open the rule book, or it's kind of like, what am I even worshiping? Especially if you're going to count on your eternal soul burning in hell. Wouldn't you want to read that manual and make sure you get it right? And then when you read the manual tells you to do something one page and not to do it the next, and then do it the next page and not to do it the next. A very confusing manual if you're risking your eternal flames for that. They should at least have a clear-cut manual. Maybe not so much. Take away a lot of the, incest and rape stories. I think it'd be great. Don't really need those in there. But if you just believe, and you know what, I remember when I was a kid growing up, we were in church, and everybody just automatically assumes that the pastor knows what he's talking about, knows what he's doing, and you just better listen to him, because in that way, actually, you don't have to even study. He's already done the work. He put in the work. He read the book. He knows what he's talking about. Just listen to this guy. I don't know, it's like a plumber or mechanic. You just got to take his word, because he's the one that did all the learning stuff. So, people just blindly. And you know what I think is funny too? If you ever see, I've heard stories of Christians that ask their pastor something, and the pastor is stumped almost every time, because they don't really know. They barely, to be a pastor, you don't really have to have much education. You go to that seminary or whatever. I don't know. You don't really have to know the Bible inside out. And before we get started here on the New Testament, I'm going to tell you, there's just as many problems in the Old Testament too. And they're not off the hook. Believe me, there's just as many problems. They're different kind of problems. They're different, but there's a lot of problems in the Old Testament too. Maybe if this series gets done, we'll just go in the Old Testament. And like I said, I'm doing this off the top of my head. So I'm sure there's much more I could say, but to most people, this is going to be, not to people who are here every night, but to a lot of people, this is going to be news to you. This is new information. But once I show you it and you see it, you can't unsee it, and then it, gives you something to work on and think about and study for yourself. Yep. Surface, well, yeah, surface readers, parrots, and that's where they just repeat everything. And it's so, and that's why there's so many denominations. What is there? Thousands of denominations, different splinter groups that came out of that same book. Like that's 1,000 different denominations that see it 1,000 different ways. That is crazy. That's crazy. That was you for 20 years? Yeah, that was me pretty much my whole life till I picked up the book and started reading it to prove everybody how true it was. Actually, I'm embarrassed thinking back at some of the stuff I said to people. I've moved I moved across the state, so I probably won't run into those folks anyway. So thankfully, my dad Pinch has helped bring me to the realization while young. Yeah, you know what? That's such a benefit because a lot of us don't even know until we get much older. Fooled our whole life. I wish I would have known when I was young. Because, you're born with stuff that kind of makes more sense than the Bible and Christianity. Just like, it's funny because the Bible tells you to love each other equally and stuff, but then, it also makes you divide yourself from anybody who doesn't believe just like you. You can have 10 Christians in a room and they all believe something else. So now you're divided even amongst yourself. You end up alone, or not much. Anyway, yes, we do love your dad. Yes, we do love Pinch. Because it is really good to get some good feedback in the chat rather than silence or mocking me, which I have fun with. Don't get me wrong. I have fun with trolls. You know what I thought was funny about it? Seemed like somebody was maybe trolling us last night. Did you notice his name? He had a first and a last name that meant the same thing. You know what I mean? Yeah, we'll see if he comes back. I won't name names, but you'll see if he comes back. It'll ring a bell. Yes. Richard Johnson. That's got to be made up. Because you know what that means, right? Anyway, if it's his real name, sorry. Hey, my dad's name is Richard. And at work they used to call him Dick too. So, and his friends. So I'm not gonna. Yeah, you didn't catch it? Yeah, I caught that. Oh, yeah, and then Grace on another channel trolling them too. So, I guess that was that. It wasn't just me. All right. Yeah. I've learned to look at people's names and what's the definition of sin? It is transgression of the law is what it is. Good evening to Travis. Hope you're doing well tonight. The definition of sin is transgression of the law. It means when you break the law, that is the sin. So if people think you're not under the law, which means you don't have to follow laws, then how do you know what sin is? Anyway. Yeah, that's what it is. The definition of sin is transgression of the law. Well, according to, I don't know where it is. The BIBLE. All right, so welcome to Travis. Hope you're doing well tonight. All right, so we're going to pick up where we left off. And we left off, we were kind of rounding up, we were kind of probably getting it toward, were we at the end of 7? I didn't even go back and look. I think we were at the end because we did Sermon on the Mount 5, 6, 7. But I saw this when I was scrolling through it. Look, ask, seek, knock. Ask and you'll be given. Seek and you'll find. Knock and the door will be open. It reminded me of a joke that I showed one time. Here's Jesus knocking at the door. He says, "Let me in. Knock, knock, let me in." And the person says, "Why?" "So I can save you." And they say, "From what?" "From what I'm going to do to you if you don't let me in." And you know what? Unfortunately, Christianity is kind of a religion based on threats. Because if you don't believe, you're going to burn. You're going to burn, baby. And if you do it wrong, you're going to burn. And even if you think you're doing it right and try your hardest, you still might burn. And some of you were just born to burn, baby. All right. Narrow, wide gates and all this stuff. Okay, so I think that's about where we left off. Yeah, anyway. Well, good evening to Dee. I hope you're doing well. Welcome. I hope your sister's doing good. All right. There's our eye, right? Welcome, Dee. I hope you had a wonderful Sunday. Hope everybody did. All right, so chapter 8, Jesus heals a man with leprosy. Now, I don't remember where I left off. I think I remember saying this. Yeah, I did. I already said this. So the Messiah is not here to heal people or raise them from the dead. It's not on the checklist. Well, hey, John. Yeah, it has been a while. Happy birthday from last June. I think I've seen you since then. But anyway, good to see you, John. Hope you are doing well and your family and everybody, your loved ones. So, yeah, Jesus heals a man with leprosy. There's other people in the Bible who is all the traditional rabbis were able to heal. And in the Bible, there were people. Who was it? Elijah and Elisha? Two people raised someone from the dead. Two different people raised someone from the dead. And then there was a lot of people that got healed. So you don't have to. And being God is not being part of the Messiah. Being God is not the Messiah. The Messiah is not going to be God or even half of a God. It's going to be not a God at all. It's going to be a man. Regular man. That's from the bloodline of David. All right, Jesus heals man with leprosy. So I'm not sure why they put all this faith healing in here because, and by the way, how many Christians, as hard as you can believe until your head shakes, how many are able to heal somebody, huh? We're supposed to be able to, right? If you lay your hand on somebody, no matter what's wrong with them, you're supposed to be able to heal them. Well, I didn't see any of them doing it. We wouldn't even have hospitals by now. In fact, the hospitals are building up like, multiplying like rabbits, and so are the pharmacies, and so are the doctor's offices, and the MRI centers, and all this other stuff. So, yeah, where's all the healing? So I don't even know what that was about. It doesn't make you the Messiah, and nobody's been able to heal like they said you're going to. So I'm not even sure what all this healing stuff is in here. The faith of a centurion, yes, and I told you that this is very offensive to rabbis, well, to Jewish people. Because what you're saying in this story here is that this is just a centurion, okay? This is a Roman soldier, and it was obviously not even a Jew or nothing. Just whatever. Doesn't know anything about Moses or laws of Moses or scriptures or anything. So this guy, asked Jesus to heal his servant or whatever telepathically from a distance, and Jesus does, or just by the request, Jesus is so impressed that he says, "Nowhere on earth have I ever seen such faith." Here it is. "Truly I tell you, I've not found anyone in Israel with such great faith." This is like I said, a slap in the face to the Jews and the rabbis, because what do you mean? So this Roman soldier has more faith than Moses, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Noah, Job, everybody, David, everybody in the Bible. All the Old Testament heroes. I guess this soldier has more faith. I said he didn't want to go in his house because the house was messy. All right. Jesus heals many again with the healing. There's nowhere in the Old Testament that the Messiah is going to heal anybody. So I'm not really sure what that's about. Cost of following Jesus. Now this is kind of strange. One, I told you that, and this is actually, you know what? I remember now, I'm just having a flashback. This is where my phone went dead last night. I was talking about this foxes have dens, and I want to make a point of this, that Jesus had a house. Remember, I told you, he, in John, I think it is, the Gospel of John, and Jesus first comes to Capernaum, and I don't know if he meets John and James, or two brothers he meets, and they went to his house at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then went to Jesus' house for the rest of the day. What? Jesus, yeah, he had a house. And Capernaum is where Peter lived, and that was like the headquarters, because he was right on the lake there. Anyway, Jesus had a house. And so this story is not about, because the people who use this to justify losing everything to follow Jesus, like, believe me, a real God in heaven does not want you to lose everything for anybody. The real God wants you to do good, have a good life, learn things. We're down here to learn things. We're here to have experiences and grow and learn and expand our soul, I believe. But this does not mean that Jesus was home. What it meant was, so a crowd, I'm just going to explain it to you because this really bugs me when people think you're supposed to be homeless. When Jesus saw the crowd around him, he gave orders to cross the other side of the lake. A teacher of the law came and said, "Teacher, I'll follow you wherever you go." Jesus said, "Foxes have dens, birds have nests, Son of Man has no place to lay his head." Son of Man is just a human being. Adam was the son of man. Adam, first human, was called Son of Man, and every man after that was a son of man. That's a human. Now, Son of God is somebody who believed in the Israelite God. But the Son of Man is a human. So birds and animals have places to live, but man has no place to lay his head. He's just telling you, following me, we're not home every night. We're not, it's not saying you don't have a home. And then another one said, Lord, here's another, rabbis and Jewish people will really shake their head at this one too, because in the next sentence is, foxes have dens, birds have nests, Son of Man has no place to lay his head. Another disciple said, let's go bury my father. And Jesus said, follow me, let the dead bury their own dead. Now, a Jewish man would never, ever say that. Jesus would have never said that, because the men in the family had a duty to put their dead family members, give them a sanctified burial and all this other stuff. So no way would they tell a man to leave his house and just let the dead guy take care of himself or the rest of the family, because it just would not happen. And Jesus was a Jewish man. Never stopped being Jewish. So anyway, I'm going to check a few comments here, because last night I'm going to check my battery here and there too and make sure I'm not. Okay, I'm doing good on the battery. I had the wrong cord on here last night. Been wondering how you're going with the runes. Do you have them all memorized now? They working for you? Me? Oh, you're talking to John. Grace is talking to John. I get it. I only use a few runes as sigils, Grace. I keep them on a thumb drive. In my pocket shirt easily enters in the etheric ether field. Oh yeah, that's cool. I'd have to know more about that. That is really cool. And the ether is really the heavens that is a little bit partially described. But anyway, so There's just things in here that Jesus, as a Jewish man, would never say out of his mouth. First, he'd never say he's God. It just, we would never say that or think it. The cost of following Jesus, which is just crazy to me, because why should you have to suffer to have a God? I don't know. And then just blindly believe that your rewards are going to be later after you die. I don't know. With no guarantee, by the way. Jesus calms the storm. That is, and you know, I'm going to say something about this story. So in Matthew, and this is probably on that list of contradictions, I'm sure. But in Matthew, which we're reading now, in Matthew, this story is just Jesus. One of the other Gospels has this story where Peter steps out on the water too. But in Matthew, only Jesus is walking on the water. So disciples went, "Lord, save us, we're going to drown." He said, oh no, this is probably when he was sleeping. But the walking on the water, that was the story I was thinking about. This is where he was, this is where they were telling him to save him from the storm. But anyway, the walking on the water, that's the one I was thinking about. And the walking on the water story, one has just Jesus doing it, and then the one that was written after that, they added Peter to the story. He got a little cameo there. Jesus restores two demon-possessed men. And here's another one that there's contradictions. Here's another one of the contradictions, because in Matthew, there's two demon-possessed men, but in one of the other Gospels, it's only one demon-possessed man. But Matthew has two demon-possessed men. And I don't know if it was Mark. One of the other Gospels has just one demon-possessed man. But Matthew has two demon-possessed men. So, in fact, I'm going to hop back over to this. Not that. That was funny. I laugh every time I see that. So if you go to this list, and I put the link in the chat. This was exactly what I was saying last night. How Jesus' lineage was in Matthew's is traced through Solomon. In Luke, it's traced through Nathan. And neither one of them are right. So last night we talked about the special birth of so in Matthew we talked about last night how Matthew favors Joseph and Luke favors Mary in the story. So the angel goes to Mary and talks to Mary, and it's Mary, Mary, Mary. But in Matthew, it's Luke, 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 and Mary's just toddling along. So in last night, I showed you that the angel came to Joseph in Matthew, and the angel comes to Mary in the Gospel of Luke. And here's something I forgot. In the Gospel of Luke, the announcement of the special birth came after she was conceived to Mary, and before she was conceived to Joseph. So if an angel told Joseph that Mary's going to conceive and have a baby, then how come she didn't know after she was already pregnant? Didn't Joseph say anything? And then why would he be upset? He knew before she did. You know what I mean? So if you think about that, it makes no sense either. If Joseph was told by an angel of God that Mary was going to have a baby before she even got pregnant, before Mary even knew, then why is he mad when she finds out later, after she's already pregnant, an angel comes to her and says, "You're already pregnant," and then he gets mad? Oh, dude, you know it before she did. Come on. All right, Jesus' parents were told anyway. So yeah, good list. So yeah, this is probably on there too. Jesus restores the two demon-possessed men because in another gospel there's only one, and it's at the caves at Cursey, and I think they call it something else here. Did they say caves at Cursey? Oh, the Gadarenes. I think the other one. Well, actually, it might be on the map. I know it's Cursey with a K, but anyway. Jesus forgives and heals a paralyzed man, again with the healing and the forgiving, and everybody's supposed to be able to forgive. The calling of Matthew. Now, this is where they come up with the tax collector Matthew. And tax collectors back then were, they were kind of, what would you call them? Kind of turncoats. So it would be, they had the Jewish people, like they'd take people out of community and go around and make them collect taxes from their neighbors and stuff. And so like I said, I don't know if Matthew knew how to read or write, but he would have to know how to count money. If there was one that might have been able to write it, would be Matthew, but I don't think so, because when they were in the book of Acts, when they're out on the balcony and they're speaking in tongues and received the Holy Spirit for the second time, they already received it in John, but for some reason they forgot, and they're getting it again in Acts. But what did they say? These men are illiterate. They don't even know how to read or write. They barely can speak their own language. How can they speak ours? So they didn't say only one of them knows how to speak. No, they said none of them know how to read or write. So I think Matthew might have known how to count money, and that's about it. And maybe threaten people. So yeah, they were kind of outcasts in their community. Jesus questioned about fasting. And this is kind of interesting. Anyway, there are other religions that use the parables, He does have a lot of parables, and there's other religions before that use parables. And it was, and I won't even get sidetracked on that. Jesus raised a dead girl and heals a sick woman, again with the healing. I'm not sure really what became of all this healing, because A, it wasn't on the Messiah's list of to do, and B, nobody knows how to do all this stuff. So what was that all about? The only faith healing I've seen, I've done it myself, had nothing to do with really. I was able to do hands-on healing long before I read a Bible. It had nothing to do with the Bible. And so I've seen people faith heal. I've seen people heal each other. Never had anything to do with the Bible or Jesus or Christianity or nothing, because I haven't seen a Christian yet that can heal somebody. Yet. Show me him. Jesus heals the blind and the mute. Again, okay. That's great. The workers are few. And you know what? I wish I would have read Mark first, because Mark is the first gospel written. And of course, all the gospels were written after Paul's letters. Paul's letter, he was dead and buried by the time the first gospel was even written. And no, they weren't written by the disciples. Not at all. No evidence of that whatsoever. In fact, evidence leads against it being any of the disciples. Besides that, remember, I just said they didn't know how to read or write. And I want to point something out, because I always forget to say this. Another thing is, wait a second. Totally forgot what I was going to say. I just got sidetracked by something. No wonder I always forget to say it. All right. And the thing with the demons and all that stuff. Okay. I mean, I'll just say, like, when they're talking about these demon possessed people that they're casting demons out, casting demons out, casting demons out, um, and then people say, oh, that so and so doesn't agree with me. He has a demon in him, or she has a demon with him. Oh, they didn't like my channel. They have, I've heard Christians say that other people have demons and oh, they're not believers. They have demons and no, because everybody, if you noticed, everybody in here who has had demons in them, what are they doing? Throwing themselves in the fire. They're breaking chains. This guy at the man at the Kersey, at the Gadarenes caves, they had chained him up. Nobody could even go past. That's the only side. There's only one path on that side of the lake that you can get around, and it was right there. The caves are right there, so nobody could even get around that side of the lake with that guy there. So they chained him up, and what did he do? He broke the chains. These people are cutting themselves, throwing themselves in the fire, screaming, flopping on the ground, and these are the ones that get healed. I don't see all these people doing this today. You know what I mean? So everybody's saying other people have demons in them because they looked a funny way or they stuck their tongue out like a lizard or something. It's stupid. Because according to these stories here in the Gospels, demon-possessed people were like wild animals, like a gorilla and chained up. You know what I mean? So anyway, I gotta turn the fan on because it's hot in here. Jesus heals the blind, the mute, again with the healing. Workers in the field are few. Okay, now we're at chapter 10. Jesus sends out the 12. Anyway, and just the basis of Christianity spreading is they're counting on people, everyday people, to go out and spread the word. So each person gets one shot at a Christian coming up and explain it. So what if you have somebody horrible that doesn't explain anything and makes it sound stupid? Now, you know what I mean? So counting on flawed people to spread the religion and spread it by threats. You know what I mean? Untrained, flawed people. Even the trained ones. Anyway. And Jesus and John the Baptist. And here's another contradiction. How John... So all four Gospels are different on John the Baptist. John the Baptist was one of the Gospels. In fact, let me see. One of the Gospels, he was killed right away in the story. Another one, he was killed way later. Another one, he was killed while he's before Jesus' ministry. Another one is after here. What chapter are we on down here? Anyway. Yeah, see, I'm missing a lot of them. So I'm not even scratching the surface on a lot of this stuff. But I'm giving enough to people for them to think. And, so I just roll my eyes and cringe when people say, it's the perfect word of God. Welcome back, D. Perfect word of God, and you have to go by it. Well, okay. Woe to the unrepentant towns. And like I said, the basis of Christianity is you're counting on somebody else to pay for your sins and your screw-ups and things you do wrong. Like I said, now, it makes me nervous to be around somebody who thinks that they're not going to pay for anything they do to me. All right, they can do anything, and they'll put it on somebody else's tab. That's weird. And then curse the people. Anyway. So 12. Jesus is Lord of the Sabbath. It's so funny. It's so funny when people argue about the Sabbath because it is the fourth commandment. Either you're going to follow him or not. Jesus said he's not doing away with any of the law. He did change a couple of them. He didn't get rid of them. He changed a couple of them, but he didn't change anything about the Sabbath. But it's so funny because the whole reason they're even The whole reason that they're even talking, this story is even here, the meaning of this story is, you don't do crazy stuff and put people's lives at risk to keep the Sabbath. You don't let somebody die to keep the Sabbath. And as a matter of fact, the Essenes, who a lot of people think that Jesus and John the Baptist and others were members of the Essenes, they would argue with the story about the donkey falling in the ditch. Wouldn't you pull it out? And that made it into the Gospels, which is funny, which kind of, some of the things from the Essenes made it into the Gospels, so it kind of lends a little credibility that there might have been a scene in the pack, if not Jesus and John, I don't know. So anyway, yeah, it's so funny. And you know what I think? I think the people who, well, I don't think, I know. People are we under the law? Are we not under the law? Well, you can tell right off the bat, the Christians who are trying to get away from the rules, they're trying to skirt around them. You know what I mean? The ones that are trying to bend the rules or don't want to follow rules, people that don't want to change and follow rules, they will try to bend the rules and make them change it into something that it's not. So it fits their lifestyle a little bit better. So I'm pretty sure that people who didn't follow the Sabbath, they just didn't want to. So instead of saying, well, it's not going to work for me to do the Sabbath, or, just being honest, say, yeah, I just can't do the Sabbath. They'll try to change the law so it makes it so the Sabbath has been done away with. Like, either you follow it or you don't. It's still there. Just say if you do or you don't. Some people can't. And somebody has to work on the Sabbath in the hospitals, in the hotels, and that's why in Israel you have every Friday night most things shut down except what? The cab rides, I think. I don't, maybe cab rides too, but the hospitals and the hotels can't shut down. So anyway, it's so funny to see Christians argue about that. Jesus and Beelzebub, that is funny. Again with the demons. Sign of Jonah. And this is another one that most Christians misunderstand. So some of the Pharisees and teachers of the law said, "Teacher, we want to see a sign from you." And he answered, "A wicked and adulterous generation seeks a sign, but no one will be given a sign except for the prophet Jonah." And I'm just going to show you something. In Mark, the original gospel, this was added. This part is added. Here, let me get the thing on here. This part was added, except for the sign. The original is in Mark, and the original said, Jesus said, "A wicked and adulterous generation asks for a sign. None will be given to it." What this is telling you, Christians, is that there isn't going to be a sign. And what does every Christian channel have? I saw a sign. I saw a sign. I saw this sign. I saw that sign. I saw a sign. I saw a sign. And you know what? The universe does give us signs. I've been studying this for a little while now, and I believe it, and I see it happen every day. The universe will give me a sign. It'll give me a 444 and another 444, or a 555, or a 1212, or 1111. I'll see it a couple times in a day. Those are called angel numbers, and it's your angels and your spirit guides, and it's the heavenly help that's trying to give you a message. And if you don't know them, you look them up. What does angel number 1111 mean? Well, I've seen it 3 times today. That's the So yes, you are getting signs and stuff like that, but not about Jesus coming. I had 3 7s on my receipt today, so that must mean the rapture's coming. And it's just like, for one thing, Jesus was disgusted with anybody who wants a sign. You see this? The Pharisees and the teachers just got done asking him for a sign, and he said, "You wicked adulterous generation, you guys always want a sign for something." And what do the Christians do? They're building channels off the signs they're seeing. And he just told you, here, you're not getting a sign. But then, like I said, if you look in the Gospel of Mark, the original said nobody gets a sign. And this one added, hold on a second, my hold on a second. All right, sorry about that. My furnace was. I got two different thermostats, and one of them might be going out in the back area of my house. It's making funny noises. All right, sign of Jonah. Anyway, so misunderstood and just like that one. This one bugs me. Oh, I saw a sign today. Yeah, it just Jesus yelled at somebody who's looking for a sign. And by the way, the sign of Jonah that opens the 3 days and 3 nights and all that kind of stuff. It gives people something to do. And I will say something. All these mysteries and riddles and stuff like that, all this confusion really keeps the Christians busy. It really does. It keeps you busy. You can spend days and weeks and months on finding what the 3 days of darkness and the Jonah and what the signs are, and it's like, oh my gosh. All right, Jesus' mothers and brothers. Now this is interesting. Because I'm going to show you something in the contradictions. And it's going to tell you that in one gospel, Mary and Joseph know that, and it must be this. So in one gospel, I think it's Matthew, Mary and Joseph know that Jesus is the Son of God, right? Because the angels told him, right? Well, in Luke, they don't know he's God's son. So in Matthew, Jesus' mothers and brothers, while Jesus was still talking to the crowd, his mother and brothers stood outside and wanted to speak to him. Someone said, your mothers and brothers are standing outside wanting to speak to you. He said, who is my mother and my brothers? Pointing to the disciples. He said, here's my mothers and brothers. Now, that's kind of interesting because in this one, the Mary and Jesus' mom and brothers and sisters are wanting to talk to him. But in another gospel, they say he's a lunatic. He's lost his mind and he's crazy. So in Matthew, Mary and Joseph know he's a child, he's God's kid, right? But in Luke, they have no idea he's God's kid. I was going to say something else about this. Oh, my computer's freezing up. What was I going to say about this? Computer froze up. All right. Okay. Yeah, so in Matthew, they know he's a holy God child, and in Luke, they don't. They say he's out of his mind. And I'm going to say something really, really important here. This story here, Matthew chapter 1, verse 48, when he says, who is my mother and father, and he's he reassigned different people to be his family. Just like the sword to divide, that's actually opposite of what the Messiah, like I said last night, the Messiah is going to bring families together, not dividing them apart. And a lot of Christianity is dividing you against anybody who doesn't believe the same, even if it's your mom, dad, brother, sister, children, whatever. Parable of the sower. All right. And that ends, I guess that's the end of, no, is it? That's, I thought there's 28 chapters. What chapter was that? Yeah, that's not the end. I think there's 28 chapters in Matthew. I'm going to get back over to the comments, see how we're doing. All right. You were saying that the disciples, oh, I just screwed up. Your sister's about the same. I hope she gets better. Let's see. Thank you for the thumbs up. You were saying that the disciples didn't write their own books. They didn't know how to read or write. Does that help? Yeah, they don't know how to read or write. And they made a point of saying that more than once. Price of milk from Walmart has decreased 25 cents. Eggs, same. I'm going to Walmart tomorrow. I haven't been there for a couple weeks. Actually, I don't even think I went. Actually, I think it's been longer than that. Actually, I think I went there in December. Maybe even November. I don't know. I haven't been there in a long time. But I'm going tomorrow. I found out that because I'm in a tiny town, you guys. We got nothing. We got a Dairy Queen and a Hardee's or something. But McDonald's or something. But anyway, I found out in another town they have chow mein. So I'm going to go to this town that's where the Walmart's at. So I'm going to go try out the Chinese place over by the Walmart. So I'm going to hit Walmart and hit that Chinese place. I haven't had Chinese food in probably 6-7 years. But yeah, I'll be there tomorrow. Wife? Oh, I missed some. Gas pump shut off at 777. Yeah, he happened to get 1.5 gallons gas on his way on a road trip. Who would pump just a few gallons of gas? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's $4 a gallon. Actually, it just went to $3 a gallon. It has been going down. So much for the tribulation, huh? Everybody said tribulation is here because gas was $5 a gallon. Well, no, ours is down to $2.99, I think. Tell us about Chinese food after you've eaten. Okay, I will. I read the reviews and everybody said it's kind of dirty. I've seen that like 3 times. That it's kind of dingy, but the food is amazing. And just get it to go. $2.62 a gallon, that's pretty good. I think ours is $2.99. I think it just went under $3. Hovering about $3, which is better. When it was almost $5 a gallon, it cost me $70, I think, to fill up my tank, or $80 in my truck. And I had 2 trucks I was filling. Is the prophet still driving to Lexington? Yes. Actually, it's Knoxville, but who's counting? Yeah, he brags he puts on 100 miles per day on that car. On a leased car, he puts on 100 a day. We're going to restaurants. Anyway, where are we at? 55 minutes. 309 there? Yeah, you're pretty close to us. We went over $3 a couple weeks ago. I don't know if it was a holiday. Can't remember. Yeah, it probably was. Probably Christmas or whatever. But I think it just fell under 3. I think it's $2.99. I like to shop around a little bit. There's a site you can pull up. It'll have all the gas stations near you and all the prices. Yeah, they are. He's hinting for a new car on the showroom floor for $70,000. If somebody hasn't worked for 10 years, definitely deserves one. Yeah, he goes through the vehicles, smashes them up, wrecks them. Anyway, maybe I'm going to stop here. I'll just chat with you guys for the rest of the time. You know what car I think I'm going to... And I shouldn't even tell you guys. I'm going to get a car because I've been driving trucks for a long time. I have 2 trucks right now I drive. And I think I'm going to get a car. It's been probably 20 years since I've had a car. Maybe 25. Oh my gosh, I got deer in my yard. Look at... They always come up, and they know when I'm looking at them for some reason. See it, dear? You know what they do? They take their hoofs and they scrape away the snow, and they get down to the grass. And this is the most lush grass I have in my yard. Is where they're at right now. There's probably, oh, there's another one. Here's another one right here. See behind the sign? There's one. And there's one. There's probably about 4, 5, 6 of them out there right now. And all I have to do is look. If I stare at my security screen long enough, they can feel it, and they look, and then they run. They can tell. They can feel me looking at them. Yeah, it is neat. Yeah, I could show you during the daytime. There. I don't know how many are out there. I could show you in the daytime. All the snow is cleared out, and it's down to the grass there. So that's what they're doing. Yeah. A car in northern Minnesota might look like a little out of place. Yeah. Well, it's going to be mostly for the summer. I'm going to get a sports car. Because my whole life I've had sports cars. I've had Corvettes, I've had Trans Ams, I've had a Dukes of Hazzard car. I told you guys I got pictures of all that. I've always had cool cars, and I'm going to go back to a cool car. I'll show you guys when I get it. It's going to be when it gets nice out. So I'm gonna take my old pickup, 35 years old. I'm gonna take that one off the road and restore it, and I'm gonna keep driving the Toyota Sequoia, and I'm gonna have a car. Yeah, I love deer. It seems like I always run into deer wherever I go. Yeah, you gotta kind of watch out at sunset. They'll jump out right in the road. I hit one in the middle of the day. But usually it's at sunset they'll start running across the road, 2 or 3 at a time. I've heard coyotes outside at night. They don't scare me. I enjoy hearing them even though they seem close by. Yeah, you want to hear something? They're scary as heck. Sound like puppies being murdered. In fact, I'll show you. If I can find... I'll see if I can pull it up. I opened my window. It was scary. It was like midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. And I heard like something out. It is pitch quiet out here, guys. It's pitch black and very quiet. You hear a pin drop. And I heard something screaming. I'm like, oh my God. I opened up the windows and it was, oh man, it was scary. I'm like, yikes, and slammed the window. And I got a recorder and I opened it up real slow and I started, and it sounded like they're coming right up by the house. I'm like, yikes, I hope they don't know how to open a door. All right, let's see. Yeah, I don't think I can do it on my phone. Yeah, no, or maybe I do. Yeah, I don't know how to search it on my phone. My daughter Audrey smacked a deer with her car a few nights ago. Deer, and car wounded. Oh, really? Sorry to hear that. Yeah, they always jump out, and then there's another one right behind it. So if you swerve at the first one, the second one's going to run out. They almost seem like they want to get hit. I don't know. Oh, sorry to hear that. It can really wreck your car. You know, I hit one in my Toyota Sequoia. And that is, the Toyota Sequoia is a 3-ton truck. That's my bigger truck. And I just kept going all the way till I got home because I had a truck, a trailer, and I had gates in the trailer, and I didn't want to stop. So I thought, well, it must not have got my radiator because I'm still going. And I got all the way home from Cambridge, Minnesota, all the way home. And I was crying because I felt really bad. I know the deer died. And anyway, when I got home, I cringed. I came out to look at my truck, and the only thing that was wrong with that truck was my license plate was curled up, like curled, and I don't even know how, but and I had a scrape, like a scratch on my bumper, the paint. That was it. Didn't even put a dent, nothing. Just wrecked my license plate and put a scratch in there. The deer is dead, yeah. Hopefully they die right away. And then you know what? The good thing is that the other animals have food then, you know. Especially if they die right away, you know. I felt bad, but you know, the reason I felt bad is because it was two of them, and one was a baby, and I missed the mom, and then the baby came out and got the baby, so I felt bad. It was not a baby, but it was smaller than the mom, so I thought maybe that was probably maybe the kid or something. It wasn't like a fawn, but it was, or either that it was the boy. Either it was the boy and the girl deer, or it was the girl and the mom and the, I don't know, but it was a bigger one and a medium one. So I thought, oh man, what if that's her kid, you know? Yeah, let's see. My sister-in-law cooks chicken and brings it to the coyote den behind her house. Oh, really? Coyotes? Oh, I wouldn't do that. Yeah, they sound scary. Plus, I don't want my dogs getting attacked or cats. How's your daughter? Hope she's okay. That can be very traumatic. She was laughing. She's never seen a deer fly before. Oh, yeah. That's one good thing about hitting a deer is that they got them little stick legs. So usually it'll hit up on the hood. Sometimes it'll go in the windshield, but usually it'll hit the top of your hood, depending on what you're driving. But I'm glad she's not traumatized from it, because yeah, I got a little traumatized because I thought maybe that was the mom and I thought they were related. I thought, you know, it's either the husband and the wife or the mom and the kid. I don't know. I just thought the one is probably sitting there looking at the dead other one. I don't know. Maybe I overthought. When I was staying with my friend in the country, I heard a ruckus. One of the dogs sounded like it's been bitten. I got the golf club, went outside. It was a cat in heat. She wanted to visit my friend. Yeah. Yeah, that can be, yeah. I hate that. I just had one of these kittens went into heat. You know what I had to do? Put it in the bathroom. But, you know, I went to the store one time and I forgot. And so I'm hoping she's not pregnant. Yeah. They were all over her. And yeah. I have some ruffian daughters. That's good. Yeah. That's good. My daughter hit a baby deer in her new car on the highway, avoided the adults, but nearly hit the overpass. She was traumatized, couldn't drive for days, yeah. Yeah. It wasn't a fawn that I hit, it was like either a female or, I don't know, it was one, I hit the smaller one. There had been a report of a mountain lion. Guess I was going to knock out a mountain, yeah. Yeah, because they hate golf clubs. They're scared of golf clubs. Yeah, you taught him well, Pinch. Good dad. Yeah, Pinch is a good dad. In a beautiful family. Man, I wish I would have had a lot of kids. You know what I mean? I wish I had more than 2 kids. I wish I do. Yeah. But I would have had to have a better husband to do that. I wasn't going to have one more kid with that one. Anyway. Yeah, cats in heat do sound crazy. In fact, I'll show you real quick if I can find it. I'm going to pull up my account here. So I got to block out the... Yeah, they sound crazy. Actually, the coyotes, to me, it sounds like a bunch of puppies are getting hurt, you know. I'll see if I can find my coyote video, because, yeah, it was scary. And they sound like they were getting closer and closer to the house. It's one of the many reasons I fenced in my front yard is so my dogs don't get attacked by something. Before the fence, when I first moved up here, I had to go out there with the flashlight, scan the yard, make sure there ain't no bears or anything stupid out there. Then let the dogs out. I got a stray cat sitting right outside my door. She heard, or he, whatever it is, heard that this is the place to be. Let's see if I can find the coyotes. Yeah, here, wolves or coyotes at midnight. Here it is. I'll play it, see what you think. I'm gonna have to turn this up a little bit. Hold on a second. Now here's what I heard out my window. I think it's coyotes. Somebody says it's coyotes. But that was a city person, so I'm not sure if I can believe it. All right. I gotta turn my sound on because I forgot. Yeah, they're kind of scary.
Listen to the wolves.
Can you hear that? My dog's
Okay, that was creepy.
Did you hear it?
Listen to the wolves.
Shh. That was right outside my window one night at midnight. You think that sounds pretty scary if I'm here by myself and I don't want to let my dog outside? I don't want to be shooting something in the dark or whatever. I don't want no trouble. It was wolves or coyotes at midnight. Batter of swing away, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, what did that sound like? Coyotes? I don't know. And anyway, so I guess I'll stop here at chapter 9 or whatever, wherever I stopped. Wait, let me see where I stopped so I remember tomorrow. I don't know if I'll be back tomorrow. Let's see, 11. Well, probably. 11, 12. Well, there's 28 chapters, I think, about halfway through Matthew. So this could take a long time. If I really covered everything, it'd take months to go through this. And, yeah. So, I mean, my question with all this healing is, what was the point of that? Was it to convince you that he's the Messiah? Because that's not anything a Messiah is supposed to do. Or was it B, to show you that you can do this, right? I think it was both things they're supposed to convince you, and neither one came. Ah! What are you doing? Who is that? Oh, it's Tweety. Okay, I'm not going to be that. It's not a Messiah thing, and it's not anybody can do, so I'm not sure what the point of all that was. Oh, shoot, I forgot my sound. Yeah, I hit that sound off there. Oh, yeah. You know what? Yeah, I do have something to say about that too. Mark 16. So Mark 16 is really screwed up. I'm going to pull that up real quick. I should have read Mark first because Mark... Here, come on, cat. Move it along here. Because, for one thing, they added the last part in Mark 16. Mark 16 used to end at when they came to the tomb and it was empty. They ran away and were scared and never told anybody. Yeah. So Prince said, Mark 16, heal in my name, but if they don't get healed, depart from me. Workers of iniquity. Has nothing to do with the person being healed. Mark was first. And in this first original, that's why I should have read Mark first. But in the original, in Mark, in the English Standard Version, it's labeled as a resurrection. But in the original Gospel of Mark, there was no resurrection. In the original Gospel, the first one written was Mark. Well, that we have, because there could have been 100 different Gospels. They said there's dozens and dozens of Gospels, but they're all weeded out. And you ended up with 4, or we ended up with 4, I should say. And so who knows? But out of the 4 that we ended up with, Mark was written before. And it ended. And it's so funny because all 4 of these going to the tomb stories, the empty tomb, all 4 of them are different. But the original, oh, look at that. All right, here's where the original ended of 16. And entering the tomb, they saw a young man sitting on the roadside, dressed in a white robe, and they were alarmed. It wasn't even there. It ended even before that. Anyway, they said they ran away and never told anybody. And then they added all this. They added, because why? Because later they noticed the other ones had the resurrection and they had to correct it. So they went back and added all this extra stuff here. How, oh yeah, I guess he did come out of the tomb, and I guess he did go out and talk to people, even though, one thing I always bothered me, and I have mentioned, I told you guys when things would not make sense to me, even when I was a big believer, there are still things I would admit that don't make sense. Yeah. Yeah, so that's in 16, Mark. Let me see. All right, that must be in the Great Commission here. Signs will accompany. They just said you won't be given any signs. And now the signs will accompany those who believe. Yeah, they will drink deadly poison. It will not hurt them. I saw a couple of those snake charmer Christians down in Southern Baptist where they always had the snakes, and they charm the snakes with the Bible and stuff. And a few of them have been dying lately. All right. Yeah. So, yeah. Whoever believes and is baptized will be saved. Whoever does not believe will be condemned. Signs will accompany. They'll cast out demons, speak in new tongues. They will pick up serpents with their hands. They will drink deadly poison. It will not hurt them. The Great Commission. So this Great Commission, this is all added later. But yeah, so actually, so why can't Christians heal? Why can't Christians heal? Why can't Christians heal anybody? I've seen other faith healers heal people. But why can't the Christians? Because of all this healing. You know what else changed through the different Gospels? The one that washed Jesus' feet. In the first Gospel, in the Gospel of Mark, it was, I think, a prostitute. And then later it ended up to be Mary Magdalene. Unless it's the same person, I don't know. And you know what else is weird about the Gospel of Mark? Well, I guess when we get there, we'll get there. But in the Gospel of Mark, when they were in the Garden of Gethsemane, and as they're Jesus being arrested, a young boy who's naked, wrapped in a towel, in a sheet, a medicated sheet with drugs on it. Yeah, that's what it was called. It was called the linen. And the linen was wrapped around this boy, and when they pulled the linen off, he was naked. What is a naked boy doing in the Garden of Gethsemane with a medicated wrap around him? And he went running off naked? Like, what is going on here? You know what that sounds like? It sounds like some type of ceremonial ritual. All right. And why is it that the vast majority of Christians tell new believers to start reading the Bible in the book of John? Yeah, the one that doesn't agree with the other three that can't agree. 75 or 80 AD, 4 generations after death. Yeah, okay, so it is because they counted a generation as 20 to 25 years, or 20 years, I think. Which is true because think about, okay, so when I was 20 years old, I'm the first generation. I'm 20 years old. I had my children. And when they were 20 years old, they had children. And now my grandchildren are 20 years old and they're going to have children. So yeah, that would be 20 years between each generation. That's what they call, I think they called a generation 20 or 25 years. I can't remember. Yeah. And so he said this way. Okay, so he also said those standing here will not face death. You know, Jesus is quoted many times in the Bible saying that a believer can ask anything through prayer and receive it. Yeah. I asked for 20 years and realized I was talking to myself. Me too. And you know what? You know what? It's funny you mentioned that. Because I was just thinking about something. How somebody will tell you, well, the Lord will provide. The Lord will provide. You know what? Every time I remember ever getting money and paying for something, it was me having to get up to an alarm clock and getting in a cold truck and going to work all day and coming home and waiting for my paycheck. And then when I got my paycheck, it seemed like I did all the work. How is he providing? I'm doing all the work. The Lord will provide. Yeah. It seemed like I was doing all the providing. Now, I do believe that universe does help me. I do believe we have helpers. I do believe we have spirit guides and angels to protect us, spirit guides to guide us. Loved ones on the other side who have crossed over. They help. Ancestors, people we didn't even know. They help. But, yeah, it seems like everything I got provided, I had to get up and bust my butt for. So, yeah, I don't know if he provided everything, and then how come I had to do all the work? Well, the kingdom of God is within, actually. Yes, I believe that we all have God powers inside of us. And I think we're all little pieces of God. Little G's. That's right. That's right. So, yeah. Yeah. Let's scroll back. I should look at the comments from last night. Yeah, everybody up here has trucks, pickup trucks. And you know if it's a city folk, because if it's a brand new truck, like brand new, yeah, those are kind of suckers. I mean, I think even if I was a millionaire, I don't know if I'd buy a brand new something off the lot. Maybe. It still would hurt because it's just such a waste of money. And Travis wanted to know what the definition of sin. I told him it was a transgression of law. That's the literal definition in the Bible. And he said, "What's the law?" So I think was I being gaslighted? Travis, were you gaslighting me? What's the law? Well, according to the Bible, it's Moses, I guess. Unless you're talking about local, federal and state laws, I guess. What are your thoughts about the spiritual? I believe that we have a spiritual realm, absolutely. And in the last year and a half, I've learned about the spiritual realm, the real one, where God wants you to be happy. He doesn't want you to suffer. He doesn't want you to, break up with your friends and family. But I believe that there is a real God source, that we have all this spiritual realm. So I believe that we can call on help all the time. And I do believe that these divination tools do work. Whether it's tarot cards or, whatever. I believe those tools do. Yeah, like one source. And here's what, now, I do follow a few people that are very good at crossing over, speaking with people on the other side. Not fakes, not phonies, legit people. And what hers, oh my goodness, they're all coming up by my house. Look at this. Look at this. They're all coming up right by my house. There's a cat here too. Oh crap. Uh-oh. There's a cat sitting there too, right? The cat's with the deer. Look at it. They're all up by my door. Look at that. They're all up by my door up here, right outside my door. Right outside my door right now. They can tell when I'm looking at them though, for some reason. Let the dogs out? I have. Not on purpose, but I have let the dogs out and I've seen them run and I've kind of felt bad actually. Yeah, they're coming right up by my door. And somehow they know I'm looking at them. I don't know how. I haven't moved. Should I let them in? Now, if they hear one little... If I get up right now, they'll run. If I move my chair right now, they hear it and they'll run. Yeah, they... Yeah, they're right outside my door right now. But yeah, as far as the spiritual realm, they're staring right at me. They know I'm talking about them. But anyway, so I've learned how to connect with the spirit world, and I'm going to show you something real quick. That's what I did. I moved this. So she said the way that they described it to her was like a what are those things? Fiber optic, like a fiber optic. You know those fiber optic lights? That's how they described it, like this. Like, they described it to her like, this is God, the God source. This is the God source. And he's got all these, each one of these is like an angel, spirit guide, loved ones. These are, so all the light and the help that we get is coming from one source, like God source, like that. Like this is the God source. But he's got all these angels and helpers and everything for us. Oh, shoot. I almost fell. Yeah, it's hot as a pistol in here. Hotter than a $2 pistol, they used to say. All right. So ever since I've learned how to connect with my spirit guides and my angels, how they want to be, like the best ways to connect and communicate with them, my life has changed. My life has changed so much for the better. At any time, I can ask a yes or no question. I can, I have a connection with the spiritual realm that I've never really had, unless maybe I was when I was younger. I mean, but yeah, I feel so much better connected with the spirit world now than I've ever had been in my life. Yeah. Well, they're out of view, so they must be right up next to my door. That's weird. Didn't know that. Glad Ella is here. She has a nice dad. Yeah, that's what we all said. We love her dad. Yep. He's always got great input. He's been with us for a while. Right through the fog. He came through the fog with us, I think. Anyway. I used to watch a lot of Gnostic Informant and Myth Vision and stuff, but it doesn't seem like they really put that much stuff out anymore. So I really kind of don't watch them very often. And when they do put something out, it's usually a 2-hour, a documentary where you'd have to sit down and look at it. But anyway. Yeah, what I'm studying now is more spirituality, more but yeah, it's nice having spirit guides, and it's kind of like it was it was thick for sure. Yeah. 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 And some people don't want to be let out of the fog. Some people like the fog, and so yeah, I got a little bit of resistance. Maybe we all did. I don't know. But I want the truth, even if it's. Oh, you know what, Pinch? You know what? I was trying to think of his name. I watch him all the time. Matter of fact, I'll show you. I'm going to show you who he's talking to. Harmonic. So this guy, he used to be a full-blown born-again Christian with his wife and children. Archaic, yeah, I think that's one Grace showed me. So I like his channel too. I'll show you. I watch his videos. I played them. So here, Christians are zombies. This was 3 days ago. I listened to that one. Here, we'll put it. He does a lot of lives. He does interviews. He has a lot of good guests. Yeah. So, and he's getting divorced because the Christian wife, is just can't believe he doesn't believe this anymore. So he's going through a bad divorce, and custody over these kids. And, oof. But, I'll show you the, another one too I like. Actually, I'll show you a couple that I like. Yeah, I'm going to put a link to his. I'm going to put a link to this one in the chat. This is Harmonic Eighth. I like him. He's got a lot of good stuff. Oh, shoot. And how about Tim on harmonic is... No, that's who I'm talking about, Pinch. That's who I'm talking about. He's awesome and very tough. Yeah. No, that's who I'm talking about. Tim is the one that's going through the divorce with the kids. And all over this belief, you know what I mean? Because he doesn't believe anymore, and she thinks that's horrible, and he shouldn't be around the kids. You know what I mean? Because automatically you're demonized if you stop being a Christian, especially by the wife you're getting divorced to. So yeah, deconverted with the fundamental. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm going to put his. Yeah, so he's the one that's going through the divorce. So I'm going to put his in the chat here. You know who else I like? Godless Granny. She has a lot of good interviews, lots of them. Yeah, you'll get demonized by people like now you're the devil or something. In fact, I heard somebody kind of close to me. They're mad at somebody. And they said, and he's not even a Christian. Yeah, that's something. Oh, that was like right there should make you recoil. Get away from anybody who's not a Christian. I'm trying to find her channel. But she's got a lot of good interviews too. Oh, look. Who it is. I forgot his name. This is a good one too. Actually, I watched this about Ray Comfort. Oops, I'm not have the. I'm sorry, I don't have the camera on. This is Ray Comfort here. Yeah, I really like her. I really like her. I'm gonna put her link in there too, because she's got a lot of good interviews, you guys. How long can apologists go? Who is that guy? Yeah, Richard Carrier. Yeah, she has him on. She's got a lot of good guests. I saw her. She was being interviewed on. Oh, what's her name? Jennifer Bird, Dr. Jennifer Bird's channel. She was being interviewed on there. So here is Godless Granny. Oops. I screwed that up. Yeah, I love her thing on Ray Comfort. That was pretty good. All right, let me get back on here. So I'm going to put Godless Granny up there. She's got a lot of good interviews. In fact, I just listened to her yesterday. As a matter of fact, I should have two windows open. But anyway. Yeah. I'll put hers in there too. She's got... I like when two people are talking. I wish that somebody would come up here and talk with me. Because one person like me by myself, I think this is not as fun. But when you have two people that can conversate back and forth, I think it makes it way better. And that's why I like their channels better than mine. Then I got nobody up here to talk to. Let's see. I noticed that about Grace. He does have good information. Oh, Archaic. Yeah, Archaic. Well, I think I think he's still sold on some of the propaganda. Because I thought he said he voted for Trump on the last election. I don't know. Yeah, I don't really watch Archaic that much. Grace introduced me to his channel, and I watched a few of his. But he said something about voting for Trump a couple last time. Anyway. Archaics. Oh, maybe I got the wrong channel. Archaics. Yeah, I think it's the same guy. There's a fog here at night a few nights ago. Hadn't seen it since I lived in California in the 80s. You know what? People have been talking about this weird fog. Have you guys heard about the weird fog? So there's this fog, and I noticed it. There was fog all day long, all day for a couple days. And some people said they had a weird taste in their mouth or they had trouble breathing. It was making people sick. You guys hear about that weird fog? Like not acting like normal fog. Because fog is, when the ground is hotter than the air. And then when the sun comes up, and the sun will burn that fog up and it will be clear. I've gone to work a lot of times when it's foggy, and by 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, or whatever, it's 9 o'clock, it's clear. But this fog never went away. All day, it just stayed. And it had a weird smell, and people were getting sick from it. Weird fog. Archaic, yeah, his ego, yeah. He's awesome, very intelligent, yeah. Yeah, he, what did I watch recently? I watched something of his recently. Had to do with something that was going on, current events. Tim on harmonicas going, yeah, and she's, yeah. But you know what? I think he said it's going pretty good though. Because, yeah, if she tries pulling the Christian card or something, I don't know. I noticed that about him, Grace. He does have a good information, so I overlooked the quirk. Yeah, the ego. Some people do. And I watch some people I don't even like, but they got good information. I mean, and some people I watch that don't have good information, but I like them. Yes, I'm not going through divorce, but I'm in the same boat with the fundamentalist wife. Yeah. It is kind of a, it's almost like a spell, I mean, it's just like, hopefully, there's channels that can point some things out. They'll wake people up. I mean, obvious things. Speaking of divorce, Dee, have you heard about your new anti-divorce law effective in July? Really? Is her state going to not be able to get a divorce anymore? Oh, so good night to Ellen. Thank you for coming in. She's going to hop off, but definitely be back. I'll probably be back. This week we're gonna go through this Matthew. It'll be a long time to get through the whole. I'm going to try to kind of get through all of it, at least the Gospels. So thank you, Ellen, for coming in. It was our pleasure. My ex was Catholic. After years, I just couldn't put up with it anymore. There are definite differences. He found my tarot cards and threw a fit. Which is funny because they've got the eating of the flesh and drinking of the blood and all kinds of crazy things, and then so to throw a fit over tarot cards is kind of fun. But I can see it. I probably would have threw a fit if somebody had tarot cards in my Christian home. Great meeting you, Ella from Grace. Hope to see you again. Be blessed. Yes, love you, Ella May. Thanks for playing. Yeah, thanks for coming on. Anti-divorce law. Oh my gosh. You know what I just heard? Because I was watching this true crime. And this lady, anyway, these people were getting scammed. You know how they say you're gonna a rich relative from Ireland passed away and you're gonna get a bunch of money. We just need your bank account. Well, these people fell for it, and they really thought they were gonna be multi-millionaires. They thought believed it so much that the girlfriend killed the husband right before they were going to get the money because she thought they had a common law marriage in North Dakota. And I looked it up, and no, there's only a handful of states that still have common law marriage, hardly any. But I did find out that in one state, and I can't remember, I think it's Mississippi, there's one state that, you know what, it's illegal to live together if you're not married. I'm going to find out. It's Mississippi, I think. Which state is it illegal to live together if you're not married? Mississippi and North Carolina. Oh, they just passed a law. December 2023. They just passed a law. It is now, oh, it is. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It is illegal for, never mind. Never mind. You still can't. So it is, as of December 2023, so as of right now, last year, it is illegal for unmarried couples to live together in Mississippi and North Carolina. Yeah. But anyway, this lady murdered her boyfriend because they thought a rich prince was going to give him money. And they both believed it. And then she got caught because she gave him antifreeze and left the bottles laying all over the place. And he died, and then they found out it was just a scam and nobody was going to get no money. But she killed the guy over money that wasn't even real. But anyway, because she thought there was a common law marriage, and there's 7 states, I think, that still have. You imagine? I mean, do they have to hide that they're not married? That's crazy. I didn't know that. That's crazy. Anti-divorce law, that is even crazier. Ivy Winsong Collins is another channel you'd like. Really? Let me look it up. Yeah, I'll look it up on here. Much faster. Jason of Archaics didn't vote, period. Oh, he didn't. She's awesome. Ellie Mae, what a sweet name. I bet she's just as sweet in real life too. Daddy must be proud of his girl. Yeah. Ellie Mae is a sweet name. You cannot not be sweet with that name. Let's see. Let me look this one up. Yeah, so there's 7 states that you still have common. California, I think, is one. Some other. But nope, there was no common law. She did it for nothing, and plus there was no money. So she's going to rot in prison the rest of her life, which is good. Let's see. Let's find, what's it called? Ivy Winsong Collins. Ivy Winsong Collins.
Ivy Winsong Collins.
There you go. I will subscribe. Thank you. Thank you, John. I'll check that out. Yeah, I still like to listen to the rabbis, though. I really like listening to rabbis. I learned a lot from the rabbis, but yeah. I used to get so mad when people would say religion is just a form of control. I used to make me so mad, but I see now they were right. It is a form of control. And it's so crazy how, I don't know if it was the 60s or 50s or whenever it was, that the Catholics, made birth control against their rules and some other stuff because they wanted to populate the world with Catholics. So they made them, multiply a whole bunch, each one of them. But for the most part, though, what I'm hearing is that religion is kind of fading out. People are getting away from religion and even Christianity. You heard about that? When I saw the night fog, I went outside anyway. Yeah. He has a dark scripture playlist that is spot on. Archaics has a dark scripture playlist. I'm going to check that out. Well, I'm glad he didn't vote. I think he said in the first election he did. First time Trump. Pretty sure that was him. But that's good. It's good to know. The couple is retired required to go through steps, therapy, a year separation, can only divorce for specific reasons set by the government. Wow, that's crazy to be stuck with somebody like that. I can laugh about, yeah, me too. Yeah, yeah. I can laugh because I did it myself. Yeah, I can laugh about it now because that's not what I believe anymore. All right, love you too, Pinch. Thanks for coming in. Thank you so much for bringing your daughter. I'll be back this week and we'll continue. Thanks for telling me the requirements, Grace. South Carolina's already like that. Wow. Making it hard to get divorced, huh? People aren't going to want to get married. You know, the only reason I would get married, or I think people would get married, is if your spouse has got some benefits that, you know, something would be beneficial for you to be married, like health benefits or life insurance or, you know, whatever. Yeah, be blessed, Pinch. Thanks for sharing your offspring with. Yeah, thanks for coming in and bringing your beautiful daughter with a beautiful name. Extremely conservative, huh? South Carolina? I know somebody who moved there. I like conservative, but not to the extreme, yeah. I like the name Ivy, me too. Me too. All right, well, I guess I'll wrap it up. Let's see where I left off here. Oops. Eight. No, I'm sorry, 14. Left out 8 last night. There's 14 this time. So I'll pick it back up. All right, there's 13. Oh, okay. Got through 13, I guess. But yeah, the Book of Mark, much different. They added a lot. Matthew and Luke added a lot to Mark. Like everything got added to. Like instead of one demon guy, there's 2. You know, instead of I just missed. I think I did miss something. But anyway, the story gets taller down the line. You know, from Mark to like. Anyway, hopefully I didn't. Hopefully I didn't miss too much there. But anyway, all right, well, I'll wrap it up and get off and say good night. Yeah, I'll let you know how my Chinese goes tomorrow. You know what else I found out? I also found out that there is a bar in town, because I don't go to bars or nothing like that, but I think there's one bar in town on Main Street, and then we had, there's a liquor store that's owned by the municipality, but this bar, one day I saw somebody coming out of the bar with a box of pizza. I'm like, hey, they got pizza in there? But I didn't want to go in there because it's a bar or whatever. Not by myself anyway. But anyway, I just found out that they got bomb pizza there, and you can get it to go. You just, you know, you could take out. And anyway, so I found out not only do we have chow mein, but we have pizza up here. And I've not had either one of those in 5 or 6 years. So anyway, I'm going to have chow mein tomorrow. I can't wait. Well, thank you too. Yeah, nice seeing everybody again. John, let me say goodnight to everybody. Good night to Grace and good night to Dee. Oops, my thing. Good night to Pinch and his beautiful daughter Ella and John and that one guy. John says, thank you for the study session. May Jesus crust pizza bless your taste buds. Well, thank you. thank you. I appreciate that. For my chummy tomorrow, yes. Thank you. Appreciate that. Everybody, John, that other guy, I forgot his name, but it won't let me scroll back that far. It only goes back that far. So whoever that guy with the red writing was, him. Good night to him, everybody. Yes. And may the pastafarian bless you with abundant pasta and sauce. Just heard an excellent Mexican restaurant nearby that serves tacos for $3. I can fill up for $3. Really? I just had tacos before I came on. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Well, it's great seeing you guys. And may Jesus and pastafarians bless you with their pasta and sauce also. Yes, good to see everybody. Great to see everybody. Love you guys. And I'll probably be back tomorrow or the next day. I think Tuesday I have to be gone all day, so I'm not sure about Tuesday. But maybe I'll come back tomorrow. I don't want to promise and not do it. So I'll put out a notice ahead of time because that way people might know that I'm going live. Otherwise, my notifications don't seem to be going too far. All right. All right. Peace. Rock on. Peace out. Arrivederci. Adios. Shalom and all that good stuff. All right. Rock on. Peace out and good night. Peace.